why I love this podcast is because it's one thing to experience culture, but it's another thing to archive it.
Everything is in divine order.
There's no success without an L, first and foremost.
Well, hello there. Welcome to Creative Ambiance. My name is Glenn. I'm here to podcast with Levi. What's up?
Joining me today, I have a guest named Glen Jamn. He is a music historian, I would like to kind of label him as, but you're someone, and I don't think I need to tell you this, but you're somebody who's been around and present for so many cultural moments in the 2010 mainly era. So I was really excited to do this episode because I feel like you have a different perspective. First off, how are you doing?
Hi, it's great to meet you. We talked about this. I'm sorry that I kept not responding
No worries.
in my emails. I'm not the best at emails. Sometimes I get caught up and I don't know, but I was really happy that you hit me up. You interviewed a lot of my really good friends.
Absolutely.
So I was like, you're on the level. And I'm honestly I like doing these kinds of talks because I'm like you said, I did a lot of stuff way back and I'm an old head, so.
Yeah, is that crazy to think about that you're an old head?
Bro, I'm Asian. I don't think I'll ever age in my life, so I'll just gain wisdom, and one day I'll look like Mr. Miyagi, but it's just not that time yet,
Yeah, I hear you. No, I like I said, I'm very appreciative of you coming on because back in 10 to 12 years ago, I remember you kind of were an outlet for me to experience things that I was kind of too young to experience. So when I watched your content, I was 16, 17 years old, and I was seeing you document these events and these music festivals and all these cultural moments and being damn, it kind of prepped me for jumping into that lifestyle when I was old enough, and I think that there's a lot of other people out there that are like that. You kind of served as an outlet for many people to experience what the culture was when they didn't have a way to experience it themselves,
I mean, thank you for thinking of me like that, but it's totally not like that.
You don't think so?
I'm super appreciative that later on people sort of, can I cuss or not?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay. So it's I'm happy that kids fuck with it. Older people fuck with it. It's just sort of, I recorded what was around me at the time that was super interesting to me at the time. I felt like during that period, it was weirdly my duty to record as much of it as possible because I felt like, once you're in a certain point in culture and you're just surround yourself, you're wow, that's really cool. These shoes are cool. This music is really cool. That festival is cool. That car is really cool. Those clothes are really cool. The guys throwing the parties are really cool. And once you really absorb where you're at, you're just wow, maybe, and that was just with me. I wasn't typically a person that recorded stuff. I didn't have cameras. I didn't go to film school. I didn't do anything like that. Just one day I picked up a camera and I was yo, from this point on, this shit is tight. I am recording it in all directions in any way with whatever I got. And it was sort of a time where, now we have camera phones. So it's you need to go and buy a camera. You have to go do certain things just so that you want to be a part of that capturing culture of the time, I started in 06, 07.
Wow.
And that's the infancy of the internet and social media and whatever. I was hanging out with people on MySpace.
Yeah.
And then Facebook and all that stuff and Instagram and all that stuff. It's just later on to me, and I just feel I was so excited about the newness of technology, culture, parties, music, whatever. And it was nobody, now there's just Instagrams where you could see what people have done. There's recordings of how great their nights were, but back then there really weren't. So I was I gotta do it for myself.
You felt a calling to do it.
Yeah, but to be fair, I had some heroes of mine, the Cobra Snake, who was a nightlife documenter, photographer. He made a Rizzoli book. It's just he was one of the guys that I always looked up to. Other nightlife photographers at the time at the same parties. I was just always just about it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I always get sidetracked whenever you ask me a question, but this is sort of the direction I think we're going. So
yeah, no, absolutely. And it sounds like to me then it wasn't really intentional of you wanting to do what you did. It was just more of a calling of you. It just felt right?
I'll be real with you. People always ask me on these podcasts, what got you into it? I went to go see Daft Punk in 2006 at Coachella.
That's iconic.
I really wasn't a fan of DJs or electronic music or even like anything like that at that point, you know? Like I got a ticket for Coachella that year because I worked for this marketing company and they gave us tickets, you know?
Oh, shit.
And like I was most excited to see, I think Kanye and Gnarls Barkley during the time, you know, in 2006, you know, it's like, whoa, the hot shit that was taking over the internet was Gnarls Barkley, you know?
Yeah.
Like that song Crazy was just like everywhere. So I was like, oh, cool. Maybe that's what I'm excited to go hang out with my friends. I don't care what I see. It was just, you know, the infancy of like that whole music festival shit.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and then my friends that were with me were like, we have to go see Daft Punk. And I'm like, oh, those guys that made that cartoon movie or whatever, you know, like I'm so naive about all this. Like I grew up listening to a lot of like like live bands and rock bands and emo bands, screamo bands, you know, live hip hop stuff, backpack hip hop shit, like Rock the Bells kind of shit. So this was completely new to me. And then it was just like, yo, I saw it happen in front of me. It was a combination of all the manga robots I grew up watching, DJing this electronic music that was for some reason hitting me, possibly the second pill of ecstasy that I took in my life. So that may have been
that was a great combination.
But sweaty hands and just like big old pupils looking at like sort of my future kind of though. You know, I was like, whatever that is, I'm like, I'm all about that.
It struck a
you know?
chord.
It struck a chord to this day. I'm still fucking obsessed with Daft Punk.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, that's my QAnon. Like Daft Punk is my QAnon. You know, like there were rumors for so many years like, yo, they're going to reunite and play this show. I'm like, when? Like, what's going on? You know, like,
yeah, you're ready.
Yeah, but it's just, it was that got me into it. And from that point on, it was a nice point in culture where, like I would say in the 07s, it just blew up because there was that whole music scene that developed, the whole fashion scene, like streetwear scene that developed. There's so many of my like best friends that do streetwear brands that started around like 05.
It was almost like a renaissance of some sorts, right? Like a cultural renaissance.
I mean, you have to also factor in the fact that there was basically no internet stuff yet, you know?
Yeah.
So whatever like culture you're creating on the internet, like now you can have a whole presence where that you don't even have to be a real person. You know, you could just have an internet presence, you know?
Yeah.
Back then, it was like, if you had an internet presence, it was just basically you sharing what you're really doing, you know? And it was for a good 5 to 10 years, it was very authentic, you know?
Oh, yeah.
There was no plan or social media strategy or anything like that yet.
Like the blog era?
Blog era. I was on blogs, man. I was like...
Oh, yeah.
I did a blog spot. I did a WordPress. You know, like I did all that shit just because... Like that was all we had, you know, like my other friends had like Zanga, you know, it was just like, these are all proto internet social media things that, and like we had to read more before we fucking got to this point, you know, like
the video content era hadn't started yet. There was no real outlet for people to share videos with one another.
I mean, YouTube was starting, you know, it was just starting, and it got to the point where I was like, damn, like I'm going to get on this YouTube thing and just like start uploading everything. And like I would go shoot something at night, and then the next day at work, I would just upload it, you know, and I would just get in that cycle, you know?
Yeah, and back then, there's not a whole lot of people doing that, like within the culture that we're talking about. So I feel like that made you one of the only sources for a lot of people like me, like I was mentioning earlier during that time, to experience it. I was just like, I don't see anybody else doing this, and this is dope. Like, I feel like it prepped me for you know, being able to experience those things after I was old enough, you know?
No, I mean, totally. It's one of those things where I personally took it upon myself as if it was a job. Like I had a real job before.
Oh, you did?
I worked actually at Disney for 4 years.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I was
what the heck?
I was an internet producer, like an online producer. So like I would help have help create the websites for Disney.com.
Oh, that's fire.
You know, like I was like if there was I worked for like the Jonas Brothers. I worked for some crazy shit. Like the Hannah Montana 2 Meet Miley Cyrus album. Like I worked for, I think, like the Disney record side, because they had their own music label and everything. But I worked to help build the websites. So during my day-to-day, like until like 9 to 5 was going online and working on like the worst music stuff, you know?
And then on the side, you were doing
At night, I would just go out to clubs. I would just be like, yo, I'm going to go.
And just take your camera.
Yeah. And just back then, it was like, and they were like really terrible cameras. Like I have the worst photos and the worst sounding videos from back then. But to me, it's an archival thing. You know, it's like the shittiness of that picture of that era of how many pixels it shot with or whatever. It's part of like,
it gives it character.
Exactly.
You know
it's like the film grain kind of, you know?
Yeah.
It's like digital film grain kind of, you know?
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm always going to be proud of anything that I shot, but I'm like, you know, later on I was like, fuck, I wish I shot with a better camera, you know?
And something that I love that you did too is it was so raw. Like you were uploading the video what seemed like straight from your camera with no editing, especially I think that's refreshing in a world today where things are overly saturated and overly edited. It was nice to see you just upload the video as it was shot in the camera, you know?
No, I mean, like, I'm not going to be... I didn't want to be someone that pretended to be someone, you know? Like, I don't edit. I don't look through... I'm not good at editing, you know? So I'm just like, I have a knack for sneaking in and shooting shit, you know?
Yeah.
But also, I also had a knack for, like... timing stuff to be like, this is going to be 5 minutes and I'm going to shoot 5 minutes like in this one shot and I'm going to edit it or not. I'm just going to upload it, you know? And I wanted people to be like, that's like, it's not edited. So if it was a tight moment, it's a fucking tight moment.
Yeah.
It was a really cool moment. And I didn't make it look cooler. I didn't put any like star wipes. I didn't make a filter with like because like you
thumbnails
look at you look at like festival recaps or whatever of videos and it's like fucking girls in like fucking moon boots like
in slow motion.
Yeah, and it's like it's not. I was like it wasn't like that for me. So let me just show you what I went through. And my style was always like, and I said it in a different podcast. It was like it's like my style was Saving Private Ryan, like the first scene in Saving Private Ryan, we're just like running around like first person POV of like a war zone, and it's just like it's not a war zone, it's a festival or a party or a DJ thing, but
it makes you feel like you're there. That's what I take from it.
Thank you, I appreciate that because to me the intent was it was like to be as visceral as you can be on camera. You know, without me knowing how to do any of that, not knowing how to do any director tricks. I don't know any of that stuff. It was just going off of like, damn, I really like the Copacabana scene in Goodfellas in one shot. So I'm going to try and do as many one shots of like real life as I can, you know?
Yeah. And what's crazy too is that you've dropped so many videos over the past 10 years. Like you haven't changed that. It's been consistent throughout the 10 to 15 years, which is crazy.
I mean, I shot a lot of videos because they're not videos though. They're just like clips, you know. It's just like there could be like one party and I'll have like 30 clips of that, you know, because they're like 35-minute things that I fuck with.
35 different moments.
35 different moments, whatever. But now I don't do it anymore. You know, I felt like I caught my era when I was the only guy with a camera when nobody else had a camera.
Yeah.
Now I'm competing with like fucking iPhone 14 Pros by like the kid that wants to be the next Aiden Cullen or whatever, you know, like and. I love people like Aiden Cullens that do stuff like they have the vision, you know? And I love like the kids that are under me that have this other vision. It's just that like for me, I have my own vision and it's like to be like an archiving documentarian thing, but it's like you'll see it in like 10 years kind of the impact of stuff. Yeah. I'm not here for like the immediate like people don't get it and I'm fine with it, you know? I'm fine with like you not getting it, but I'm more of like one day you will see how important this era was through my lens, but I'm not out here like trying to like push it. I'm not trying to be like, yo, you know who the fuck I am? Like, I'm not that guy.
Yeah.
I'm always like, at any event, I'm always like, aim to be the bottom of the totem pole.
The fly on the wall.
I just don't want to be anyone that would be like, who the fuck is that guy like that was having an answer? Like, it's not Glenn. You know, it wasn't me.
Make sure it's not you.
No, it's not me. You know?
Yeah. I think I resonate with that a lot personally for the podcast because when I started this, it was in a similar fashion where I didn't know a lot of people that were sharing the stories of a lot of homies that I have that are doing really cool shit. So I felt something really similar where I was just like, I want to be the person that archives these moments and like what's going on in this specific community, right? So I totally get what you're saying there.
No, it's important to be a part of it, and it's important to be like understanding of it, and then to appreciate what's happening around you as it's happening, you know. And you're doing that. You're like time stamping moments with people that you fuck with. I didn't know you fuck with me, but like, thank you so much. But
I'm a fan. I told you, man. I've known about your work for like 10 plus years now, which is crazy.
I appreciate that. But yeah, it's just like it wasn't like meant to be anything, you know. Like my mom doesn't give a fuck about this at all, you know. Like she could care less who like a Daft Punk is, or a Skrillex is, or a Thundercat, or a Flying Lotus, or like a Kanye or a Jay-Z. Like she doesn't care. So me always competing with like she's always like, what happened to your degree from UCLA?
Oh, she's still on that?
Yeah, she's been on that. Like,
damn.
And I'm just like, whatever, here's some money, like, you know, like just cheer, enjoy this.
She has no idea.
No, I was like, yo, it's Amazon Prime Day. You want to watch and an iPad, like whatever.
That's hilarious.
This is your deadbeat son that is like down to buy all this for you, you know?
Flexing on her in a different fashion.
No, but it was, I mean, to be fair, when I had my first job at Disney, she loved it because it was like easy. Like, what does your son do for a living? Disney?
She could drop that to her friends. Sorry. Flex. No, I hear you. No, and I think going back to what we were just talking about earlier, I think it's okay for people. I think it's important for people to know that it's okay to be inspired or be a fan of something and not try to practice or be that. And what I mean by that is, like, for example, you know, you've mentioned this as well, and I'm the same way. Like, I love DJs, right? I'm a big fan of DJs and turntablists, producing a lot of this stuff. But I feel like that doesn't mean that I need to go be that. Like, I don't need to go try to be a producer. That's brings me to the point of, like, I wanted to find a pocket where I fit in and play my role, and I feel like that's this. So I just wanted to put that out there. You don't need to exactly go after being something that you're a fan of. You don't need to be everything at once, you know? Oh,
I've been surrounded my entire professional career by musicians, DJs. Like, you know, there's always a part of people that are like, I could be a DJ too after being around that. I'm like, bro, you know why I love this shit so much is because I never have that like creeping thought, you know? I love being what I'm doing, and it's completely separate of that. So it never, like, I'll never muddle into it. Like, if God forbid, if I turn into a DJ, right? I already understand like the weird like tension of people if I were to take a DJ spot from my friend, like a gig, you know, like I already think in terms of that where I'm like, I'd rather not even be a part of it. It takes out the
envy from it.
I don't want to even be in that, you know, like. And in the photography field, most of my best friends are photographers, and we just all support each other, you know. It's not like a competitive field really. There's so many things to take photos of, you know. So it's just like that. But yeah, I've always been surrounded by like musicians, actors, or whatever. I was like, bro, I would never want to be a part of that. You know? Like, I love it so much. So out of respect, I'm gonna like stay the fuck back here.
Exactly.
And like you do your thing.
It would like, especially since you have homies that are so talented, it's like, I feel like it'd be disrespect for me to try and like be what you are.
I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say that sometimes when I'm in like a studio session, like my drunk ass will like give him a suggestion though.
Of course.
As if like it means something, but I'm just like, that's as much as I'll try and do, you know?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, you should do this, and they'll be like, yeah, whatever, you know?
That's hilarious. Well, going back to the consistency piece, is that important for you for consistency? Because I feel like during those past 10 years or during that era, you were uploading so consistently. So was that intentional for you to be consistent?
Yeah, that was like, I wanted people to know that was my calling card, that I was a very consistent person. Like if I was at a party, you could expect the video the next day. And it's like video, not photos. I was like, you're expecting fucking video, you know? And it's like, it's 2007, 2008, like bandwidth is slow and whatever. But I was like, yo, I would figure it out, you know?
Yeah.
And I would just be like, yo, all y'all got that sick like photo from last night. Here's the video, you know? And video was not always the greatest, but I was just trying to make sure that like I'm in these like musical situations or whatever. So what's the point of taking photos? You need to like hear the music. You need to do like see the music, like people dancing to the music. That's like the actual memory. So I was like really into like consistently doing it, you know?
Yeah, and I think back during that time, I read somewhere that I think you were the age of like 16 years old. That's when you started to like really break into clubs and start documenting. Is that true?
No. I was a fucking good boy. Like I
Oh, you
didn't
were?
go to clubs. I didn't go to raves. It was until I was like 21.
Okay, 21.
And then, yeah, but then like, honestly, I never really went into raves. Like I was like 24 or 25 when I was like consistently going out, you know? And it was because I think it was nice because it was like, I felt like I found the clubbing world and like I found my friends there rather than like me trying to be a club rat, like trying to be someone like in this zone that wasn't like for me, you know? Yeah, like I thought about it, but like I wasn't really like into clubbing really that much until there was a reason to club, you know?
Bro, I'm laughing because
Who told you that I was like 16, bro? Like, who's giving the young hood rat bio? Like, I'm from Glendale, dog. I'm not from K-Town.
I gotta send you the link, bro, because there's literally
it.
an article out there that talks about you being 16 years old, sneaking into clubs, getting your start, like shooting events and shit.
No, I mean, I was sneaking into clubs a lot, but it was like 16 is a stretch, though.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Respect.
That's hilarious. But no,
like that.
even when you first got your start, so that was what, around 21, 22, 23, like, you know, recording these type of events and what were you initially shooting off of? What was like the camera?
Oh man, like the first one was maybe like a Canon ELPH pocket digital camera that's like 3 megapixels.
Oh,
and the
shit.
next one was like this. I remember the name. It was a Kodak V570, and it was like a dual lens shitty camera. I'm just gonna refer to them all as shitty cameras, you know?
Yeah.
And then I had like a little camcorder that I would buy because I had made a little bit of money at Disney, you know, that had like a zoom, and that was like a Sanyo Exacti fucking video camera, right?
Right.
Then later on, I would start taking. Then I would do this thing back then where I would record like with my right hand, like a video camera, and I would try to take digital stills with my other camera with a digital camera. So
Double fisting.
yeah, so I would use like a Ricoh GR digital back then with my left hand because I was like trying to prove to everyone like I could do both for some reason. But then kind of you realize you're not good at both. You're just really good at either focusing on this one or
And
this one.
the other one suffers.
But then I was like, okay, cool. I'll shoot this and I'll just get like cool BTS moments with this, you know? So I had like photos and video of the night. You know, I was like really obsessed with doing both. So I was like, cool. And then now, I mean, then I bought some camcorders that I like really loved with like a little Sennheiser mic when I went to like concerts and stuff because audio was really important to me. Like if I was going to capture video at a concert, like on stage, it can't just be like, you know,
yeah,
like,
and it's not, nobody's gonna
nobody's gonna hire me either because like that's why what I was known for was like cool like content like from a festival and shit like that. And what's the point if I have like the illest shot of Skrillex and Justin Bieber and Diplo and whatever, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like whatever.
What
Damn, it's pretty hot in here.
I know, man. Like I would put the vents on, but it's gonna be crazy loud. These vents are like old as fuck. Not yet. I would definitely suggest. That's a fire cardigan, by the way. Yeah. I love that one.
Shout out Corridor in New York.
Corridor, New York. Yeah, that shit's fly.
They're at LA store now.
Oh, fire. I gotta check them out. But no, I was gonna say, what allowed you to get the level of access that you have? Is that just through your relationships, or because I feel like that was also a different aspect to it, was the exclusivity of it. Like you were, not very many people were able to get shots like this. You know what I mean? So
I'm gonna be real, man. I'm just a friendly guy. You know, like I was just friendly back then. I always wanted to be approaching things like, hey, like, you know, I'm new to this shit. I'm like just green. I don't know nobody. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm cool. You know, like everyone back then was like trying to already be cool. I'm like, bro, I ain't cool. I am trying to like record as much, and I will give it to you for free the next day. You know?
Okay, you just straight up with it.
Also, I'm a huge stoner, so I was just like, yo, like, I would try to grease the hinges, like, you want to smoke this weed and like fucking like let me in kind of shit, you know? And weirdly, that was my combination of like traits that got me into these things.
Oh wow,
you know?
yeah.
I mean, I definitely snuck in. When the security guard was looking the other way, I would like sneak up on stage.
During the initial days.
Yeah, but to be fair though, once I snuck up on stage, I didn't get kicked off because I would start being friends with the guys on stage. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, hey, what's up? Like, but I wasn't like, hey, motherfucker. Like, I wasn't like, I want to have no ego. That's what I want to be known as.
And not coming off strong. You seem like you're somebody who doesn't like performative optics, right? Like,
no, man. I'm like, bro, I'm a nerd. Just like leave it at that. And like, if you believe it, then that's cool. But if you think I'm trying too hard to be something else, I'm like, you will be sorely disappointed. You know?
Well, there's that. I feel like there's that aspect to it, but once you, like you said, you got into these areas and these spaces, I feel like your relationship building was on point. So is that something that you take into high value for yourself, like keeping relationships and making genuine relationships with people?
Oh yeah, to this day, I fuck with only people that I fuck with because they've been genuine with me for so long. Like I get along with like a lot of musicians and DJs because since day one, I wasn't just trying to like get that photo and like be all weird with it. You know, I was like, I'm really a fan of your music. Yeah. And like if I can get closer and like we fucking get along, it's gonna be dope, you know? But I'm just not the guy that was like, I needed immediate like satisfaction from that, you know? I'm like, I hope you like this weed that I brought, you know? But it's sort of a tribute to how tight of a musician, like I'm not here to do anything. I don't want nothing from you, you know? Like I'm just like psyched that you're sort of talking to me, and then it would just be like that 5-minute conversation turned 10 minutes, then 20 minutes, and then we realized that we get along really well, and then I'm like, wow, like fucking Skrillex, I love you, bro. Like you're a really nice guy. Or like Boys Noise or Thundercat, Flylo, like these are all my ride or die homies because like I spent time with them initially as a photographer, but then sooner and later I was like, wow, like we get along really well because like we're both not that weird, you know?
Developed
like,
into a friendship.
Yeah, and I always aim for and gravitate toward those like genuine relationships. Like now I go to like, you know, I've moved on a bit into like more of a like the fashion weeky kind of space of
really?
Like more of like the streetwear creative side of other things and like the art side. And it's all because of the relationships I made from people from way back then, you know?
Yeah, and it seems like it's happened organically for you too, right?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I strive that like my entire story will be pretty fucking organic. You know, like like my goal is to make a story where I'm just like, I didn't try harder. I'm not trying to like gas you up as to how awesome my shit was or whatever. It wasn't even that awesome, but I was surrounded by really sick stuff. And in this authentic viewpoint that I tried to give out, I hope you understand that it was fucking tight, you know?
I see.
Like
you
no
can form
tricks.
the opinion for yourself too, right?
I want everyone to make their own opinions. I have my own like lens, my viewpoint, right? But I wanted everyone to see for themselves that it wasn't camera tricks that this party was sick. It wasn't camera tricks that this event was amazing. Like it was one of the best times ever. It was this 5 unedited moments shows you this is sick as fuck. And I always would say like it's unfuckwittable like
Shout out to
like film, you know? Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, you said you're working on putting together potentially a documentary, right?
Yeah,
like
I keep
in the
saying
future?
it. Yeah, I'm working on it as we speak right now, but
That's crazy.
It's just a process because I had a whole storyline of what I thought it was gonna be, and it just like changed a couple months ago.
Oh,
you know?
really? Why did it change?
I mean, initially, I'm not gonna tell you what the new thing is, but initially, I thought like I needed to like craft the story of that scene that I was in, like a holistic viewpoint, like Time magazine talks about the OOs or something, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to be the guy that tells that story. The more I think about it, it's like I am gonna tell that story, but it's gonna be more told through like what I went through personally, rather than like how great was Diplo, how great was A-Track, how great, because like to me, they were so important to me, and I need to show you why they were important to me. It's just a byproduct that they're important to you too, you know? But my story will tell you, like, we'll meet in the middle as to why, like, I fucked with them, you fucked with them, and then it goes along with my story, you know?
Is your mindset constantly shifting as you get older, you know, towards not only what you want, but like your ideas and what you actually want to action on?
Actually, no. I'm a very believe in like things come to you kind of thing. Like I have plans of like what projects I want to work on, but I'm very into the idea like right now I get hired to take photos and stuff for a lot of stuff, and it's purely like referral based, you know? Like I don't ask people. Yeah, I don't ask people for more work. Like I don't care if I work more, to be honest.
Interesting.
Like I'm working on these other projects that'll like really be my meaningful stuff. my day to day, I mean, yeah, it pays my rent. And it's awesome. Like it's good rates too. And like today I got hit up for like a low key wedding of my friends, and they just want me to be there to shoot it. And I was like, as long as I don't have to be responsible for like the ring ceremony stuff and like if it's in my wheelhouse of like the reception, I'm fine. And they're like, yeah, it's gonna be like that. I'm like, all right, bet, I'll do it. But normally I don't shoot weddings, you know, like I don't shoot stuff. Like I go by case. Like
you have the freedom to be able to choose what it is that you want to take on. You don't have to.
Yeah, but that's me saying that now, because for many years I did not get paid like anything for taking photos or video. You know, like a lot of people growing up, and especially if you're like a content creator, there's a lot of people like, oh, you have a camera. Like, oh, you know how to take photos? Can you just do it for us for free for some follower handoff or something that's not really like money to pay for the shit that you did, right?
Right.
So like I was like victim to that forever, you know, trying to like build a name forever, you know? But
do you regret that?
No, because back then there was no money in it, you know? Mm-hmm. There was no social media strategies. There was no monetization for YouTube videos. There was no monetization for Twitter or X or fucking Instagram content anymore.
It was like you got paid for with relationships.
Yeah, for sure. And those are way more valuable because I got hired through relationships, you know?
Yeah.
I got paid really well through relationships.
Absolutely.
But back then it was like I'm so way back that like I made money on YouTube and then I had to demonetize everything because I had music of
copyrighted music. I didn't think about that.
Before the copyrights, I was making money off of their music. Yeah.
Before that, they started that law.
Yeah. Before what is it? It's a couple letters like the AMPC, whatever.
Some shit, yeah.
Some shit, but like I was getting like $1,000 a month, and then I stopped getting them because they're like, you don't own the music. And I'm like, you're right, you know? You know, like what are you gonna say?
What are you gonna do?
Now it's a huge business, you know? And
it is.
But for like a good 2 years, like, you know, and that's what I liked, enjoying the growth of the internet and the technology of it. Like there were fun things to like play around with, you know, and that was one of the fun things, you know?
Is there a certain memory or moment that kind of stands out to you over the past, you know, however many years? Like a few that might, you know, be some of the best memories of your life?
Yeah, like, and the best part about it is you can like go on my YouTube from way back and like
see
find
it for
them
yourself.
Again. You know, like when I saw Daft Punk play Without a Mask at Busy P's birthday at Cinespace, like Steve Aoki's party. And like I just have this one video that nobody else has, you know? And it's like,
yeah,
bro, like that's mine, you know? And it's like of the thing that I fucking love the most. And it was a surprise thing, and like it's in HD and like it's shot in 2009, and it's like it's my shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then like another, you know, there's like a lot of little moments. Like Kanye showed up at this like this party that we were like, me and Virgil and my friend Louis Brodinski was doing for Bromance Records. Shout out Bromance. Like that shit's on me forever. Like fucking.
Oh, is it really? Yeah, the tat.
Crazy. And it was a French techno label called Bromance, and it was like very influential kind of to me and them and everyone else. But Kanye showed up to that party, and I just have like this footage of like I'm on stage, just like literally like this close to Kanye, and like the security guard. There's nobody pushing me off, because I was like, this is our party.
Oh,
he showed up at our party, and then at a certain point, he's just like fucking with the camera, like going like this to me, and I'm like, this is great. This is a great moment, memory, you know. Yeah. But I have many cool moments like that are just in there. They're cooler contextualized, you know. Like I always show my friends. It's like a trick. Like if it's like late enough and we're like drunk enough and whatever, we'll just go on my YouTube and I'll just show them like, hey, you want to see some cool shit? And then it's like one of my videos that I really loved was Travis Scott before he got big, and his big hit was like Upper Echelon. You know?
Really? But during that time, was it that Fool's Gold?
No, it was at Fader Fort at Austin.
Okay, because you have some iconic videos of Fool's Gold.
Yeah, that too. Because like A-Track and like Catch Dubs, they like let me just have free reign because they're the homies. You know, they're like there's like nobody on stage, and I'm just like in front of like Post Malone and Jaden's faces, and I'm just like, video. I'm just really stoned, and this is what I do, and you can take it up with A-Track, you know, like I was like whatever, and nobody gave a fuck because like, you know, I was always doing it kind of out of respect too, though, you know? I wasn't trying to fuck up their day. I just was like, yo, I just want to get the craziest footage right now that kids are going to remember later, you know?
Yeah, and good thing you did, right? Because I feel like nowadays, if there's no like recording or evidence of it happening, it almost can kind of get lost in history, right? Like,
well, I got to do it before a lot of people got big, so I didn't have to like sign away waivers saying that like I can't
like
use
you do
this
nowadays.
footage. Yeah, like
yeah.
try taking a video of Travis right now. Try taking a video of Post Malone right now. Try taking a video of Jaden. There's just like safeguards until like they own the footage or something, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just happy that in the like the wild west of the internet back then, like I still got to retain most of my rights of everything. You know?
And who knows if things will go back to a time like that where you're able to do what you were able to do, right? Like
you won't,
probably never.
You'll never.
We won't
You'll
be
never.
alive. Yeah.
No, it's just like there's so much money in it now that they figured out that like you can't just like let it go, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, but whatever.
Well, are there some relationships for you that you hold kind of like really near and dear to you that you're really grateful for? I know you have a lot of them, but are there like a few that come to mind?
Well, I mean, I'm really tight with like my core people, you know, like in terms of music, there's friends. In terms of the fashion world, there are friends, you know, and these are people that I always constantly go towards back and forth. So there's a lot of them, you know, like I love my relationships. So like there are people that I go back and like I feel like back then, like the two dudes in the music scene that really put me on were like Mike B, who's a DJ, like one of the legend DJs, like everyone's favorite DJ, you know, and DJ AM, you know, and rest in peace. Like they both like let me tag along, you know. Then like later on, like Busy P, like who manages Ed Banger Records, who does like Justice, and he used to manage Daft Punk back in the day, you know. He would let me tag along in that whole French crew when I would like want to hang out, you know, and then Flying Lotus's crew would like let me tag along, and then like I literally just fucking walked across the street, ran into Fly Low's manager in the street, like
That's how it,
on the way here today. You know?
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, like
wow.
Shout out Dom. But I was like, yo, like I was like, oh, like, you know, it's these things, but we're still friends and we're still like have a relationship. That's what I wanted to have, you know? Like I have mad love for like Brodinski, Gesaffelstein, Guillaume Berg, like my whole like French techno squad. But when I met those French guys, they introduced me to Virgil Abloh, you know, and then because Virgil was like tagging along, DJing with these guys in France all the time, you know, then like Brodinski and Gesaffelstein and Guillaume and all that stuff, like hung out with Virgil when he was like in the Yeezus era, and then
oh damn,
then Geza and fucking Brody have a track on Yeezus. You know, it's like it's all related.
It's crazy how organically it happens too, right? You're not like intentionally being like, I want to meet this person, so I'm gonna like try to be around the people they hang around with. Like it was just like totally. Naturally happening for you.
Totally, like, and then through Virgil, I met that kid Zach Bia. You know, who like I met him like young, and I was like, who is this kid? You know, and then, but he's super nice, and I really like his energy, you know? And Virgil was the guy that like put me onto him, and like in Paris, we would like kick it, you know, or like we went to Virgil's like apartment, you know, and we kicked it, you know, and just like, I'm like, bro, like, I love this kid, you know, and then like, you know, then I see him like DJ for like Drake the other week.
Oh yeah,
like,
I was there at the Kia Forum, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm fucking proud of this kid, you know, but like, I always want to be like the guy that's not like, oh, there's more talent and it might take away a spot. Like, no, I don't ever like hate on the new generation or whatever. I'm like, it's all generational things, and you're all the heroes of everyone else's generation. You know, it's like, and I'm all for it. You know,
that's what I was gonna ask you too, like how it's like kind of taking a step back and watching the newer generation kind of take over. I
mean, there's certain things, of course, like suck, but there's some positive, amazing things that happen. That if you've, it's like everything else. You have to find the gems that are there. You know, I won't say everything. Like, I don't really get the TikTok generation because their attention spans are like so short now. Like, if you really look at it, my videos are like 5 minutes long. Like, that's a fucking that's Oppenheimer to a child. You know, like
that's true.
You know, it's just like it's crazy.
Barbie versus Oppenheimer.
For sure, bro. It's just different. And I'm here to be like, maybe if you fuck with my shit, you're just a little bit more like patient. You know?
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like but yeah, there's like cool young parties that I fuck with. Like I fuck with Favela. I fuck with like my friends Discotheque. I fuck with I I don't know, just
a lot
things.
of different upcoming fashion brands too.
Yeah,
right?
like I love streetwear brands that grew in, like, you know, like, to take a word that's in my vocabulary, like born and raised, you know, like they put me on to so many other people that are like also like Chicano brands that are trying to grow up underneath like the wing of that, you know, or like indigenous fucking tribe stuff that I found out through Born and Raised, or how I found out about Babylon is like based from a punk, like a hardcore group called Trash Talk, you know, and it's like, then they're doing shit with like, they introduced me to Verdi, who does Girls Don't Cry in Japan, you know, it's like, and these are all organic things, and it's all because like we're all pretty fucking like cool with each other,
connected,
and it's not because like we all come like, because I know a lot of them too. It's like, to get in that circle is very hard, you know.
100%.
I don't know how I fell into it, but my blend of weed and like dumb jokes and like my photos or whatever, and my hopefully my authenticity got along, and then now I'm like super protective of that circle, you know, like rest in peace Sponto, but I was like, it still hurts, you know, like it's not just a thing. Yeah, we were like, I was pretty close with him. I don't want to say like there's a competition of that. Like we were all close in our own ways with people, you know, but like I have mad love for his family. You know, I love his like wife and his kids, and like I met them and stuff, but it's more the fact that like I was a fan of Born and Raised because I'm born and raised in LA, but I'm not like have tattoos or not from Venice. I'm like not a hood dude, you know, but it was just great how like one day one of my friends, Derek and Guillaume, just introduced me to him, you know, and then like Lee Spielman from Babylon and Trash Talk and stuff, they just like linked up and shit, you know, and it was really cool, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of the brands that you're talking about, it's crazy that a lot of them birthed in LA, right?
Yeah,
there's
like,
so many that are just coming out of LA versus a lot of other places.
I mean, bro, shout out Union, like they're my friends, and like all the people that I fuck with in terms of clothing, like I fuck with them as like people, you know, and they're from LA. We have to be extremely proud of that, you know, like we're like, as I'm born and raised in Los Angeles, I know nothing else. Like I don't know any, like my music is like G-funk related growing up or whatever, and all this stuff, it's like I'm so proud to be from Los Angeles, you know.
100%.
Like my family's Korean. Man, I'm so hot right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm like baking right now, bro.
The light is pretty hot
like,
right here.
I know, like, bro, shout
sorry.
out. Yo, this footage, I'm gonna be like, look like a melting like cabbage,
ice cream,
you know,
like cone.
I'm just like, fuck, dude.
I know, the light is crazy right here, and then the heat rises. So
great.
We on the 8th level.
Great. This is hey, Creative Ambiance shout out, bro.
I know.
Like,
hey, so somebody sponsor us, air conditioning company.
Yeah,
like
for real,
that would be
dude.
real
Shit.
nice.
Give me a silence air conditioning company. Anyways, all right, I'll stop being a bitch. What's it called? Being from Los Angeles, we have to carry it with pride if you're from here, you know? And I will never not be proud for the fact that like in the genetic lottery of my Korean family could have moved anywhere in America. Like I could have grown up in like racist ass Mississippi. Like in the words of Kanye, it'd be like, yo, sometimes they ask you like, how would your life be like if you lived somewhere else? Well, guess what? You'll never know. You know, like I'm from LA, bro. That's where it happened. You know, like I'm from LA.
I'm so grateful to be from here too. I feel like it shapes you, like where your environment is.
I mean, we're in the best multicultural place in the world. Like we have respect for everyone. Like everyone that like, it's like New York too, where it's like you get a piece of the pie, but you represent that pie, and you get a piece of that in the LA. Like Koreatown is Koreatown. It feels like Koreatown, you know?
Yeah.
Go to like fucking like El Sereno or whatever, and it's like I feel like Mexico, you know? Like fucking, it's just like there's spots, you know? You go to like Arcadia, straight up China, you know what I'm saying? It's
San Gabriel.
fucking, you want that boba, you go there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. But anyways, with all that said, I like LA though more because it's so wide, so there are spaces for this, you know?
That's
like in
true.
New York, it's like 2 blocks of like
Congestion.
high rise, you know, but there's like San Gabriel Valley, bro. That's a lot. That's a big 3 word to say, you know.
100%. That's where I'm from. I'm from West Covina.
Oh, where? I'm from Glendale.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if this is true or not, so tell me if it's not, but this article also said that you were born in South Korea. Are you?
No, I was born in LA. What article? Yo,
Are you South Korean though?
I mean, my family's from South Korea. Well, I think my ancestors are from like the northern Korea provinces, but it's during a time where like everyone's from North Korea or South, like everyone is like just mixed Koreans, you know? It's just a day they made a border, and I'm sorry that happened. I'm not a communist or anything. I'm just saying that like genetically it's like, you know, Eastern Germans and Western Germans one day, they're still German, but like, you had a fucked up day where like they made a wall one day, you know?
100%.
So it's like, I'm sure I have South Korean, North Korean, like everything, blood roots. But I was never born in South Korea. I was born in like fucking Huntington Park. Like, and I'm fucking grew up in Glendale. You know, it's like, whoever did the research, okay, what's the next thing that this person said about me? I would love to refute.
Let me pull up the article. Yeah. Maybe we can.
Are you sure you spelled my name right? Like, I don't know who.
Yeah,
like Glenn with two N's.
It has your picture on it, bro. That's how I knew.
That's fucking crazy.
Somebody's got false information on my guy right here. But growing up in Los Angeles, can you touch on like what your parents were like and how your upbringing was as a child?
Yeah, my parents are divorced, so I grew up with mostly my mom, who lives here, and my dad lives in Korea. But I'm happy I grew up with my mom in LA rather than growing up in Korea. Like, I could be wearing like makeup trying to be a K-pop guy, and it's like, I'm happy that I'm from LA, where I was very like, I have real roots for being like a Los Angelino, you know?
Yeah. Like actual, like you're not like, cause I feel like right now a lot of people from here or that live here aren't from here, right?
Yeah, totally.
Like this is the place to come to for everybody to make whatever they want to make happen.
Yeah, totally. This is where the heat rises, you know what I'm saying?
Like,
the heat rises, bro.
You didn't know you were signing up for Hot Ones, huh?
Oh, shit, for real. Like, man, we haven't even tried the sauce yet. It's crazy.
I know. All right. Well, I got the article pulled up.
Pull up.
Says Glen Jamn, also known as Glen Han.
Okay.
Born March 23rd, 1989. Is that true?
No. Way younger. I'm way older.
Oh my God.
We don't have to go to the actual date, but I'm older than that.
Okay. And born in Seoul, South Korea, he grew up in Los Angeles, California, where he started his career as a photographer. In 2009, he moved to New York with a friend for a couple of years. Did that happen? No. It didn't?
I mean, I had a girlfriend that lived in New York, but I never lived in New York, ever. I've always lived in I've paid rent in Los Angeles for all my life.
That is crazy.
What else is there? I'm so intrigued by this. This is the best.
What he takes pictures of is performers at music festivals and events and DJs like any other photographer at those events. The reason why his pictures are so interesting is because he takes them of subjects who are the performers.
Yo, this is like, you know those like TikTok translations of things or whatever? It's just like a Chinese interpreter like made a video of something and then like they're giving their readout explanation. This is what this sounds like.
It's like the AI glitched. And like,
bro, this AI is dumb as fuck. It don't even know what's up. Like,
maybe AI wrote this. He started being a photographer at the age of 16.
No.
He would sneak into clubs and go to music festivals to capture pictures of performers. So he found his friend from New York, which was a DJ that led him into many other festivals.
No.
This is
insane. I can't wait to hire this person to write my bio. Like, this shit is fire. And also, is it like online? What is this?
Yeah, it's online.
You need to link me to this because it's insane.
Prezi.com. So
Prezi.com.
Yeah.
Shout out Prezi.com.
That's crazy. Nah, but overall, I feel like we have to set the record straight on how your actual journey was. Like, so as you were mentioning, like you were a child growing up in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
What were some of the major influences for you, like especially in your early ages?
I mean, influences were definitely like, you know, hip hop, like rap, like, you know, like all the G-Funk stuff, like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, all that stuff. But it was like through the guided lens of, shout out my friend Leonard Lee, who like always played me all this shit at church. You know,
like that's how you got into it.
Yeah,
or found out about it.
I learned a lot of my like hood rat shit at church.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is a very accurate thing to say if you're Korean in LA.
Really?
If you watch the show Beef, like it all starts to make sense. You know?
Okay, that's actually what the experience is like.
It actually is like I met a lot of great pastors' kids that were like the worst kids. You know, like I met a lot of like fools that were like the best. I mean, not to say that like everyone's bad. It's just that like during the formative years, that's where I got my baggy pants from. That's where I got my like spiky hair from. That's where like I hung out with friends that like took me to underage. Like when I was 16, I would go to like bars and like pool halls and shit in K-Town with them.
In K-Town?
Yeah.
How you get into those? They didn't really, back then it was different. They didn't.
It was definitely illegal, and it was just like one of those like it was just one of those things, you know, like they just let you do it because it's Koreatown, you know. It's just like I don't know what to say other than that, you know. And
also being from Glendale, like your proximity to Los Angeles wasn't too crazy, right? Like as somebody that was born in West Covina, it was a harder push as a kid to try to go live that Los Angeles lifestyle.
Yeah, but I didn't like kick it in like I didn't kick it in K-Town when I was growing up though. You know, like my family was always like, yo, they're all hood rat shit. Like, you don't want to be there. And they're like, you can't really kick it there. I'm like, all right, I don't have a car, so I guess I'm not going.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, it's easy when you live in Glendale because it was also far enough where you're away from it too, you know?
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier in the podcast that your mom was like so excited for you to get, you know, a corporate job with Disney, for example. When you were growing up, were they kind of trying to push you to go more of that like safety net route?
I think every Korean parent, every Asian parent wants you to go the safety route.
Why do you think that is?
That's because like you grow up Asian, like you have to work hard and nothing's ever guaranteed. So it's like you got to go with the safety route because something's somewhat guaranteed if you do that, you know?
Yeah, things I feel like now are so much different though, because back then also it's not like you had very much access to seeing successful creatives in any different medium. Now it's just like a different story because people are doing so many crazy good shit as creatives that there's like use cases that you can see. But back then it was just like, you want to be a photographer? Like what the hell, what is that going to do for you? They don't understand.
I wasn't like into photography ever. You know, it's like now I like it, but it's one of those things where I basically took photos because I was like, nobody's going to believe me from like the cool story that I'm going to tell about this night, you know? And it was like my only evidence. And that's like being like a dork that like didn't get invited to parties usually growing up, you know? When I took photos, it's more like evidence rather than like art or memories, you know? It was more like nobody's gonna believe fucking Glenn because like Glenn doesn't go to these things. Like
because you said you were a good boy, right?
Yeah, bro. Like I was like afraid of raves. I was afraid of ecstasy. I was afraid of all that shit, you know? Because like they're just like I just want to go to college. I just want to do all this shit, like growing up, because like to not let my family down.
What did you ever want to be something else when you were like younger?
I mean, there was like once or twice I wanted to maybe be a lawyer or something, but I just never went in that like career path or anything to get to that. It was just always like Glenn likes to fucking argue a lot, so he should be a lawyer kind of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And like my family was always like, oh, he's like smart enough to be like doing this. Like I was really good at school, you know, like I had like a good GPA in high school and then in college, like graduated honors and everything, you know? But after you leave school, I was just like, I'm over it. I don't want to be in school anymore. I did it all. Like
you said you were at UCLA?
I went to UCLA. I mean, I got my undergraduate, but I was like, why would I want to spend more money to go to school? And it's like way more money to go to this school, you know?
100% expensive.
And I'm like, nothing's guaranteed and whatever, you know? Like, I don't know. I just wasn't in it, and I was just like, I'll just get this job at Disney, and then like I thought I was just gonna be like in the corporate path, you know?
Yeah.
Where like, I did a marketing job here, then I did another marketing job, then I'll be a marketing guy, and then I'll be like, you know, like do whatever. But as I was working at Disney, which is like a great job for someone when you're like 23, 24, like you get to go to Disneyland all the time for your family, and then like it's not a very difficult job, you know? It's more like keeping track of things every day and making sure the ship runs smoothly.
Well, I think that goes to show that you could have very easily lived that life.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It could have been easy. I was pretty good at it until it just got so boring to me that I stopped caring, and that's probably why like I stopped doing it, you know? Like I saw like people at the job that's like twice my age, like whistling while they work, buying all the Disney shit, you know, like, and putting it in their offices. And I was like, yo, this ain't for me, you know, like I like the environment. I like the people I work with. Like I never had a problem with anyone. Like, plus also I was like the young, cool kid. So they all wanted to fuck with me though. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's true.
but I never like let them know what I was doing. Like I never let them know I was like shooting clubs at night or like
you
hanging
kept those
out
two
with
lives separate?
Fucking no, I fucking didn't let them know at all. One time, like someone that worked in a different department at Disney, but in the same building, like saw me at the club, right?
Oh, crazy.
But I'm like at the like DJ booth, like dapping up the DJs and like smoking a joint. And I was just like trying to pretend like he didn't see me kind of shit, you know? Because like I was trying to keep it laser, you know? Like I don't want that. I don't want him to be misconstrued because when I was at work, I was like professional, you know?
That's
like,
so crazy. That's so funny because I'm the same way. Like I have a day job. I work for Snapchat. But on the side, I have this whole other life that nobody at work knows about. Like they have no idea that I do this.
They know though. It's Snapchat.
You think so?
Yeah, for sure, bro. Because this is like internet adjacent. You know?
Bro, there's been some coworkers that came up to me like, I saw that interview, dude. I'm like, oh fuck, bro.
Yeah.
I'm like, no.
Come on, you like that? No,
I know. I mean, it feels good, but
that shrug right there, bro. That's a. I fuck with that. What's he say? Is he looking at me like that? That's the shrug right there.
No, like I wanted to keep them separate,
of course,
like for so long. But I feel you in why you wanted to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I was trying to keep it so separate, but like, man, there were times where I'm like working all day. I went out the night before all night until like. Well, this is also a great thing about being in LA. It was just like I could go party only until like 2 a.m. and then it's done, you know, and I could go get ready to go to home and eat and sleep and get to work by like 9. You know, it was like very doable. Like, thank God I didn't grow up in like New York or whatever where it could go on to like 6 a.m. and I can't make it to work, you know? Like, it was a very sustainable, young career plus party path that I lived during those days, right? Because it was, and also I didn't really drink. I just like smoked weed, you know? So I was like, didn't have a hangover. I was just like,
it didn't catch up to you.
I just was really hungry at the end of the night for being stoned, you know?
Yeah. Well, like fast forwarding to now then, have things changed for you in terms of like what's sustainable and what you're looking forward to doing next?
Like I said, I'm trying to make that doc. So that's the real next, you know? It's what happens also from that is what's like the next. And also I've been waiting for the long run, you know? So I like hopefully I can start making the book that I want to make. Start doing all the stuff that I want to do because it's like I have enough photos now. I have enough like of a direction of what I would make it. Like and then I can like make a t-shirt that goes with it with like a brand that I fuck with or whatever because now it'll like mean something, you know? Like it's all about the real story, you know?
Right.
And I won't get there till I fucking do it. I'm just more open with like, fuck, I hope this fucking festival books me for next month that I really want to go to. I want to still do Art Basel in Miami.
Oh, yeah.
Because in my mind, these are just all markers that are like more pages into the book that I'll eventually make. So it's like I'm not wasting any time. I'm just doing the day-to-day stuff, but
being like, really present.
Yeah, but meanwhile, I'm still like at night, I got to like write up something that I got to send to someone for the doc, you know? But
yeah,
I'm moving forward with stuff. But there's also days where I'm just like, fuck, bro, I'm just going to watch Winning Time on HBO for like the whole season, you know?
Yeah, just a day to yourself to do nothing.
Yeah, like that's how, like, because I'll pull in long hours though. Like,
oh, yeah.
Like last week I shot like 4 days in a row of something. Not to say that it was like 8 hours each day, you know, but it was like something each day that someone was counting on me for.
I see. Well, I feel like that's a certain type of freedom in itself to be able to like wake up and do what you want to do. Yeah. You know what I mean? You must be so grateful to have this life versus the one that we were talking about that's more corporate. Like that sounds like a dream to me. Like that's what I aspire to be in the position of one day, to be able to, you know, do what I want to do and not have to rely on a job, you know? That sounds like the dream to me.
I mean, it's hard to do though, to get to that point. It was just like, now people fucking give me somewhat of my worth, you know? But for a long time, man, I got down, like just lowballed on everything, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But now I feel like since I've shot for so long and since I've been on a good, like, on good terms with everyone, you know, and like not fucking it up every opportunity that I've gotten, you know, and keeping tabs with all the people that are good to keep tabs with kind of shit, you know? Now I feel like I'm getting what I deserve, you know?
Yeah, like all that work is paying off.
But it took a long time. I could have quit a lot because it wasn't fucking paying my fucking bills.
Was there a lot of times you thought about quitting?
Well, I can't really quit this though, you know? Like I can't just stop taking photos though, you know? It's just like really weird. So, but like in terms of like that as a real job, yes, I was definitely down to quit that shit and get a real job again, you know? Like a real corporate job, because I'm like, bro, I was good when I was there at corporate. I just decided to move on to this when this world was popping, you know? But
yeah,
doesn't mean I can't fucking write sick ass emails and fucking be passive aggressive at an office, you know? Like, you know, like I'm very good at water cooler talk.
There's a lot of
I'm
passive
very good at like,
energy.
you know, like yeah. But that's the shit that I learned is like when I worked at a corporate job, I use that era as like it socialized me, you know? It taught me how to write an email, but never be like an aggressive person in an email.
Yeah.
Like if shit ever went down, bro, I learned to like shut the fuck up and like let you say some shit, and I'm gonna be like, hey, this guy said this, you know? Like, and I'm like, I know shit gets heated, like, but when I'm off the email, I'll be like, this motherfucker, fuck this fucking dude, you know? He don't know what the fuck he's doing, but I'll be like, yeah, like that was just, I mean, you know, blah, blah, blah,
Per my last email.
No, but it's just like you saw how like the permanence of email chains were. How like it was like all receipts. Like I learned all that shit when I was like 22 though, you know? And I learned it when like the internet was just happening because I was like using MySpace at night and understood what the internet really was. Like
professionalism.
Bro, I was downloading illegal music during the day and fucking selling music online on Disney. You know, like it was fucking, you gotta know
opposites.
what's up, you know? Like, and I was just like, I'm just happy I wasn't dumb during that era, you know? But it was just like, yeah, it's just funny. It's just all funny when you think about it.
Yeah, well, like I said, I'm sure you're really grateful that you ended up choosing the path that you chose right now. Moving forward, though, if people want to follow your journey, how like where is it best for them to follow you on? Just like your socials, IG?
Yeah, like my Instagram, I try to keep it one-to-one with like what I'm feeling. Like if there hasn't been something posted in a couple of days, because like, I don't feel like doing it.
And you got a lot of content that seems like you're not putting a whole lot of effort into it, right? Like,
I mean, to me, I'm not using it, like I'm not monetizing my Instagram. I'm not using it for this other than, to be honest, like it is somewhat of a portfolio of how I shoot, you know, lately. Because I just like, these are the memories that I've shot and I upload those memories, and like it could be a pop-up, it could be a concert, it could be a festival. It's just my life, you know, it's just like my day-to-day.
But it doesn't seem like you're being too, like, you're not putting so much thought into.
Yeah, because
like,
that shit corny, bro. To me, it's corny as fuck. Like, like having a storyboard for an Instagram post or whatever, and like saying whatever. I will say though, I do take a little bit of time choosing my little emojis, like for the Instagram post. I'm like, this calls for a wood log, DNA, and
it's
a
important.
hug.
It's
you know, like
important.
shit like that. Like it does, and then I do spend a little bit of time of like what I want to call it, you know, like the title of it, because I'm big into puns, I'm big into this, and I'm like, I really wanted to see, like the other day I saw like the musician Miguel, right? He had a listening party at Sony, but he's like the homie, and I know his management like pretty good, so I took some photos of this really awesome fucking show that he did, like a showcase, but like I don't want to give it away, but it was like it had to do with like physical pain and like.
Was it that thing that went viral?
Yeah,
of
like he's like hanging
hooks,
on. Yeah, but I'm like taking photos of it, right? And then I do an Instagram post because I was like, I want to do my own, right? And it's like crazy photos of it. And I'm like, what should I call it, right? And I'm like, Peter Pan, you know, like because he's like floating in the air and it's like pain, like Peter Pan, like, you know.
Yeah.
Those are the things that are like I really
you enjoy,
but I do take a little bit of time. I'm not gonna say like it's not fucking a thought out process. I choose like 10 photos out of like 70 photos of that day, or
that's true.
You know, like yes, I do take my time, but my motivations though aren't like monetary though.
I see.
That's what I'm just gonna tell you. I'm not doing this for someone else's benefit except for mine. Like
I got you.
Like I really hope this joke hits, or like I really hope this person really likes this photo of themselves. Like that's the only reason why I'll do things like that.
Yeah.
But I'm over that whole like social like I've been offered to do it for monetary things, but it's like I don't want to make a fucking reel every other day. Like
yeah,
that's
please
when
the
you,
algorithm.
Yeah, because that's when you lose interest. Like that's like the whole like the vlogging culture that happened. Like the I'm gonna do a vlog of myself every day. I'm like, bro, how interesting can you be 365 days a year? Like Tom Cruise, like fucking Will Smith, like those dudes aren't even interesting 365 days of the year, every fucking minute, and like when like Jake Paul and those fools were like making it seem like you could do that, it really fucked up like people's minds,
Yeah.
Like that's why like I can't get caught up in it, because it's like I'm also like older. Like I don't have a TikTok. I just don't think it's like relative to what I want to share. Like I'm like an archivist. Like you don't need 30-second clips or 10-second clips of me dancing or on like the latest wave of like your favorite music or whatever. It's just like I know what I want to do. Instagram kind of suits me, and YouTube kind of suits me, or this,
Absolutely.
But I'm not talking shit about TikTok. Like TikTok's dope. My homegirl used to work there and shit, and like, oh, she got her bag and shit. But it's just like one of those things where it's just like not for me. Because if I were to do it, aside from maybe making an archival kind of instructional kind of TikTok, how there's like
that
some
seems more your lane.
Yeah, but it's not like, yo, check out what I'm wearing, like check out the fit, like fucking, who I'm gonna hang out with today?
Oh,
God.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm not gonna do any of that shit,
Yeah.
It's like, I want people to be naturally funny. Sorry, I'm doing this. I'm just like, my fucking hands are sweaty and shit. I'm sorry, like.
No,
Thank you. This has been a great, like, the sound is amazing. The wine has been great. The water has been great. The company with Levi has been great. I'm just sweating my ass off.
We got to get the temperature right. We got to get the temperature right.
No, I get it. It's because of the air conditioning fan.
That shit is loud as fuck.
I mean, it's just whatever,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
it's okay.
You gotta figure this shit out.
No, we do.
You only shoot during the winter and like
just stock up on episodes during the winter time.
Just
and
like
close down.
Yeah, just like down jackets.
I think I left the window open. I think that I don't know if that has to do with anything, but I think that might be letting some hot heat in here.
I feel like it's letting out some hot heat, to be honest.
That's true. I mean, we got the light in here. That's kind of adding
cool,
some heat to it.
I feel like it cooled down a bit, though.
A little bit? I'm happy to hear it.
Oh, thank God.
But speaking on the documentary, I feel like, has it been not struggle, but has it been difficult to go through all that footage? Because you must have so much heat and just so much footage in the archive. Has it been a challenge to be able to go through all that?
It sucks, bro.
It's a lot, right?
Because this is why also I don't edit videos. Like, this was my reasoning as to why I'm not good at editing videos. I want to like move on to the next day and shoot the next thing, right?
Yeah.
Whenever I edited or tried to edit once in a while and look for footage and go backwards, I'm like Groundhog's Day, like reliving this day again and again, and like being like putting a magnifying lens on this like day that happened a long time ago. And it's like, meanwhile, I'm more rather shoot what's happening today or tomorrow rather than still wandering into the past, So I'm not really great at it. So that's why I'm like trying to get my friend to help, who's like sort of like a archivist kind of a person.
Yeah.
Because I need directions on stuff. Like I need a fresh set of eyes rather than just my eyes over and over and over and over and over doing it.
I think that's important though, to recognize what you're not good at, right? Just as much as it is to recognize what you are good at, because you can, like you said, kind of have somebody else help you out with that weakness that you have.
Yeah.
You don't have to be good at everything.
I'm not good at anything except two things, kind of.
Things.
Like I've always like Liam Neeson. Like I have a special set of skills, and like taking photos of people on like this little camera that I got. Like
that taken monologue.
Yeah, that's me.
Well, okay. Well, what would you say that you describe yourself, if you had to label yourself as, whether it's like a music historian, like a documentarian, photographer, videographer, like what would you do if you can control that narrative for yourself?
I like the term historian. I really like the term historian because it's like, I like the fact that it's like not documentarian, because it's like, I'm not working for a documentary. You know, I may make one, right? But
yeah.
I feel like a documentarian is like, you're in the process of making a documentary and it's been all along. Like, historian is just like, it just keeps going on forever. And you're just like taking notes of the era. Like, there will be a historian after me, you know?
Yeah.
But I would love, like, yeah, that's what I think of. You know, I like the more esoteric version of it. Like the more like school version of it.
Okay.
You know, like
yeah.
something like you could study to be a historian kind of in my mind, but like to become a documentarian is like anyone, if they fuck with this one story and can film it. I don't know.
I get what you mean, bro. You're gonna be like one day, if you choose to be a like dope ass grandpa. Like, imagine
sure.
when you have your grandkids, you're just telling them about like these fucking crazy
like,
nights that you.
No, but I'll also be like the grandpa would be like, yo, check out my YouTube. Just like fucking don't leave me alone. Just like look at that instead. I don't have to tell you the story.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And like put on your Apple AR glasses and just relive the moment for yourself.
Oh yeah, that's
you know
true. Another like facet to it. That's gonna be crazy. Imagine YouTube in like 50 years, 40 years, like.
Bro, it's gonna be. I mean, I can't even imagine. You know,
I mean, you just can't fathom it.
Like it's just the way that I've lived the last 20 years, right? It's just like I've seen the craziest shit.
The innovations.
Because not having internet and then having internet, it was like the fucking weirdest fucking feeling. You know, like when I like got all these like computer viruses by downloading illegal music off of like AOL chatbots, you know, it's like, bro, it's like old school shit. Like, I was like, and I'll be like, hey, how come like I can't log into my shit no more? Like, because you've been downloading fucking illegal music that's like has viruses all over. You know, I'm like, oh, word, okay,
yeah.
Thank you for telling me, ma'am. You know, like, yeah, it'd be like that.
Pirated shit.
I'm pretty fucking stoned at this point.
Oh, are you? You got the pen going?
Yeah, I've been shout out Timeless and Uncle Polly.
Timeless and Uncle Polly, what is that?
Uncle Polly is a sandwich brand or a sandwich spot in LA, and Timeless is a weed pen brand that my friends run in AZ.
So they did a collab?
Yeah.
That's nuts. A sandwich shop with a weed brand? That's crazy fire.
That's how we do.
No, we were talking about, and also before I get into that, have you had Mike's Deli off Los Angeles Street? Bro, one of the best sandwiches in LA. That place is insane. Did you do Mr. Miyagi, that fly?
I'm trying to.
You almost did. No, but we were talking about what you would label yourself as. So you are saying a historian, right?
Yeah, more historian rather than a documentarian. But if I make a documentary, then I'll be a documentarian. But
yeah, you can't be a documentarian unless you put a documentary
exactly,
out.
Right.
I feel you.
Right.
All right, man. Well, shit, we appreciate you hopping on, Glenn. That was fun, man. I hope you had fun on it as well. Any last words before we end it?
Listen to more Daft Punk.
Okay. We'll end on that. From Creative Ambiance, this is Levi, Glen Jamn checking out. We'll see you next time. Peace.
Bye.